Welcome to Inspirational Journeys, everyone. My name is Ann Harrison, and today I have a special guest with me. He's a children's book author, and one of the topics he really focuses on is bullying, and this is Dr. Nghi Dang. Welcome to the show, Dr. Dang.
Thanks you for having me.
So, why don't you start by introducing yourself to the listeners and the viewers today?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. My name is Dr. Nghi Dang. I am a family medicine physician. I've been practicing for over 10 years. I practice both in the clinic and in the hospital setting as well. One of the major inspirations for the book is my two children. I have two little girls. I read to them every night, all different books, and there's really no really good mental health books that I have came across. So that's one of the inspirations for me writing this book for their generation.
Wow, you just answered two questions in one because I was going to ask. Well, actually, I can go there. What's inspired you to become a writer?
I'm actually not a writer. I've always been a science person. Writing's actually never my forte. I'm more of a science person, and I really enjoy drawing. I'm more of an artistic artist than a writer. But during the pandemic, I've seen a huge number of increase in mental health visits to the clinic, and when I talk with my other colleagues, they see the same thing as well. So it's kind of like a same thing across the board for all of us. So growing up, I was an immigrant, so like my profile says, I dealt with bullying, I dealt with being the odd kid out, being left out. So I had a lot of experience of going through mental health problems myself, and with all the stories and that all the patients have shared with me, it kind of inspired me to kind of come up with something that will put all of our stories together and share it with the public. So then just let everyone know what they're feeling isn't unique to them. They're not, there's nothing wrong with them. Everything they're feeling, other people are experiencing too. Just so that they're more aware and they're not alone, and they know there are resources out there to help them so they don't suffer in silence.
Okay. So I noticed you've written these children's book. You've got children's books out that talk about bullying. So, and you just launched one a few days ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the first book is on bullying. The second book is on learning disabilities.
Oh, okay. So I noticed they're in the forms of picture books, but yet your characters are in the sixth grade. Why choose picture books over the middle grade chapter books? Or are these graphic novels?
Um, they're like a mixture. I didn't go with the traditional, chapter books or traditional picture books. I the target audience is mainly maybe fifth grade through seventh grade, maybe eighth grade. So they're a little bit older, but I still want to incorporate, some pictures in the book just for more for entertaining purposes rather than educational.
Oh, okay. Because I was just wondering about that. Because I know usually when the middle grade books I've seen, most of them are chapter books. That's why I was asking. That's why I was curious about that.
No, yeah, definitely right. It's not a typical genre. I, I wanted something that you can pick up and finish in one sitting without having to, pick it up a later time, but long enough so that it kind of gets the point across. So then it was in a like in between books length, like whether it's like a picture book versus a chapter book. I was like right in between the length. That's why I ended up just doing a mixture.
Oh, okay. I see. Um, so and you've got books come scheduled. You've got books releasing through what, the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. That it sounds interesting. So, um, did and I know you expressed the inspiration behind these books, the one about the bullying, but tell me what your writing process was like. Did you kind of plot out the story or draw the pictures first and then write the books, or
The writing process is actually there's certain topics that I actually really want to address and hit. So I use I try to recall all of my experiences, all the stories of my patients that told me through the years, and found stories that kind of stuck out and for each pertaining topic, and then I use that and kind of mesh them together to form a more like a cohesive story. So the series starts from the beginning of the school year, and then at the end of the series is the end of the school year for the main character Max.
Oh, okay. So the other character, the one now I'm curious because are these human characters? Or are these human characters with certain animal like human animal? Kind of describe what the characters are supposed to look like.
So originally I was doing gonna just have normal human characters, so people can relate more to it. Uh, but stepping back, I realized I don't want to pigeonhole any particular ethnicities or race. That's why I decided to do animals instead of humans. So the animals are actually the animals in the 12 zodiac, Chinese zodiac. So that's where my inspiration came from for the characters.
Ah, I see. Okay, that sounds fascinating. So, are there any what are the main takeaways that you'd want the kids to take to what are the main things that you'd want kids to take away from the series?
So the main takeaway is one. My hope for this book is that it will allow for parents to kind of segue into conversations with their kids about mental health. So it's not like an awkward transition. So it's not the easiest topic to talk about mental health with your kids, kind of off the cuff. It's easier to have something to segment, like, hey, did you read the book? What did you think of that character? What do you think they felt? And then go into a more deeper discussion. So that was the goal of the book. And two, for in terms of for the kids, I in the book I incorporate a lot of emotions and feelings and thoughts that all these characters are going through, just to share with them the commonality that that you can experience all these symptoms and feelings and thoughts similar to these characters, if you're experiencing something similar to them, just so that they know that whatever they're feeling is not something weird or irrational that they have to like hide and kind of bury their feelings because it's not natural to feel these things or they're embarrassed. So that's why in the book I actually incorporate a lot of those thoughts, kind of just so that they know what the typical thoughts and feelings are, because these are the thoughts and feelings that my patients share with me, and what the some of the thoughts and feelings I went through as well, just so that they can kind of familiarize themselves with these feelings, these symptoms that they're having, that they don't know what's going on. So that way, they're like, oh yeah, I experienced those symptoms before. Oh, that's what I was feeling.
Ah, okay. So do you have any tips for authors or, no, new writers or any advice you want to share?
You know, uh, as a from my standpoint, I'm not a writer myself, so writing didn't come naturally. So for those who are, very good writers and writing comes naturally to them, I would definitely just go ahead and don't strive so much for perfection. Just get it out, whatever your thoughts on paper, and you can always edit it later. When I first started writing, I was very self-conscious because like I said, I'm not a writer. But once the thoughts are on the paper, then I start editing. I had editors edit it. It's a process where the original was still gonna look much different from your final final manuscript.
Oh
So
yeah.
don't be so worried about perfection, and just whatever your thought is, go ahead, put it down on paper. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can edit it later. That's from a non-writer's um, advice.
Okay. So where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can visit my website at the adventures of maxandfriends.org, or just type in on Google search the adventures of Max and Friends, and then my website should be the top one. You can browse the website. It gives you a kind of a mini synopsis of each book and what it's about. And then you can purchase it through the link through the Amazon website.
Okay. And do you have a social media presence?
No, I don't have much of a social media presence. I'm really busy with going with my practice and with the kids. So this I don't have like a social media for this book series except for my website.
Okay. So one final question. What is your call to action? It could be a challenge, it could be a resource. What call to action do you want the listeners to take as we close this out?
I think biggest call to action would be just don't be afraid to speak about your feelings, your emotions, to share them with your family and your friends. You'd be surprised how many people will understand and kind of give you a good advice and having gone through similar things as well. So, mostly just talk about your feelings, share your feelings. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. I don't think anyone's gonna judge you any differently. Sometimes, as we know, there's a big stigma with mental health. My motto is that I wish people would treat mental health and physical health as one and the same. That's just your medical health. They don't. They shouldn't treat like anxiety or depression different than like diabetes or hypertension. That's all part of your medical health. Your physical health starts with your mental health. So I think it's all one and the same. So my biggest takeaway is that don't treat it as two different entities and be embarrassed of one and not the other. I think it's all part of your health. So, if you're experiencing any kind of mental health, to me, I treat it as if you're having diabetes or having high blood pressure or having, other physical health conditions that we still treat. I I still treat the same way. I don't differentiate how I treat mental health versus any other medical condition. It still needs care. It still needs follow up. Same thing with your medical health.
Oh, now I like that. So we challenge you today. Oh, before I give my challenge, do you have any questions for me?
No, I mean I read your profile. I'm pretty good with what I read.
Okay, cool. So we challenge you today to go out there and read to get inspired, write something inspiring, and share your creation with the world. For when you've touched one life, you've touched thousands. Thanks for joining us on Inspirational Journeys. And remember, your story matters. And I also like to thank Dr. Nghi Dang for joining me on Inspirational Journeys today. And everyone, have a blessed day.